Hey guys, Snoozy here. A little bit different. We are playing Gray Zone Warfare, not an action RPG. I know we're branching out a little bit. And this is going to be the absolute beginner guide. Not going super in depth. This is just the basic things that I found that I wish I knew before I started. We're not going to go into depth about ammo types, mechanics, or really any of that stuff. This is just basic, how do I play the game, and we'll get started. First off, there's a lot of backlash for the game being unoptimized. It is unoptimized. Keep in mind, I'm recording this on day one, and I personally wouldn't recommend the game. I think it has a lot of work. I think the optimization needs a lot of work. Servers for me have been solid. I've been seeing a lot of complaints about the servers not really functioning. There's some rubber banding. It's to be expected. It's day one of an early access, but the optimization 100% needs to be improved. I have a 4090. I'm getting about a steady 60 to 70 frames on ultra wide. It's not much worse than Tarkov for me, honestly, but I am CPU bound. That's enough of that. The game is fun. If you can handle the optimization, pick it up. $35 on Steam. I think you can refund if you have under 2 hours played or something like that. If you don't like the game or if you have issues or won't run. But anyways, straight into it. The best things to know is you will spawn in your camp. I am currently on the Lemang faction, and this is incredibly important. If you get anything from this video, pay attention now. You cannot change your faction. If your friends pick Lemang and you pick... I don't even know what the other factions are. Hold on. These guys, Mithras, you cannot play together. So make sure you figure that out. There are workarounds, but it involves creating another Steam account and then family sharing. It's just not worth it. Talk to your friends, figure it out. Hopefully they add a way to change factions or play with your friends. It's a little janky right now. But that's the thing you need to take away. You cannot really undo this choice, to my knowledge. When you start the game, you will start in the base camp. If you press tab, you will bring your character screen. On the right is your locker. It is important to note that your locker is shared between the PvP mode and the PvE mode. I am playing PvE. On the PvE mode, you still have your faction. You will see them on the map. I only have one guy in the server. He's over here, and he's doing his own thing. You can see your faction. It's important to note you cannot hurt your faction, and other players cannot hurt you. NPCs will still annihilate you and shoot you in the head for fun. So, yeah, you got that to go for you. But you will spawn in your base camp, and your character is your equipment. Your backpack has a slot to carry an extra weapon, which is nice. I haven't found a way to quickly swap between them, so I've just been dragging them. If you figure out a quick swap way, put it in the comments. Help everybody out. Help me out. Your food and energy. Energy is food. Hydration. You can right-click inspect, and it'll tell you the hydration per charge. This water bottle has 4 charges. I've used 3 of them. Be careful with your food. They will take some of your hydration away. Unlike Tarkov, you can put quest items in your butt. Your butt being your safe lock container right here. If you die, anything in this container you will take back to base. Everything else will be left on your corpse for other players to loot. If you do die, the map is persistent. Let's say I died right here at the landing zone because the helicopter ran me over, which it can, and it did. You can fly back out to your landing zone and pick up your gear if it's still there. Now, the way you get out of your base camp here is pretty simple. It was not intuitive for me. You click on the landing zones and then call your transport, and they'll come pick you up in your base. Now, if I'm out in the field, let's say I'm right here, and I want to go back to town, to me, I would click this and then press call transport. That is incorrect. You would have to go up to your base, click here, and then call transport, and then the transport will come back in. It's going to be a little loud because we have a helicopter in-game flying over us. Nothing I can do about it. There's a lot of helicopter noises in this game. So if you pay more than $35, you can get a bigger box, which can go 3x3. So you would have all the way out here and all the way down. I think that's like $100, up to you. Early access, don't get scammed. It's early access, so you take the risk. I mean, look at all the stuff going on with Tarkov with the Edge of Darkness. So If it's worth it to you, get it. Don't let people talk you out of how to spend your money. You spend it the way you see fit. Your equipment does have durability. I have not figured out a way to repair it. I do not know if you can repair it, but it does have durability, and it will give you the little icon if it's about to break. Your helmet will also have the durability. Your headset doesn't appear to have durability, and your weapon also doesn't appear to have durability. You can stack bags inside of bags. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics. I know it's really, really basic, but that's what it is. Some of the other basic things here is your vendors. The vendors are actually in the menu. They are not inside the town. I ran around like an idiot looking for them. Don't be me. Do better. You start with Handshake, which is like Ragman. If you're familiar with Tarkov, there's going to be a lot of Tarkov similarities. If you don't play Tarkov, he essentially is selling your gear, like backpacks, armor, armored rigs, belts. Then you have Gunny. You're never going to guess what Gunny sells. If you guessed armor, you would be wrong. He sells weapons and grenades and ammo. Ammo seems to be pretty cheap. It's not. Is this one? I believe these are the rounds that you use for your M4s. Is it? Yes. So that is the rounds you use for your M4s, and luckily the cost appears to be $1 whole. Yeah, $1 per. Also, it defaults to 300, so be careful with that. You can buy your M4s if you lose them. Important note about your M4s is you get one of these guys that has a sight on it. Oh, so used to Tarkov, I was trying to rotate it. The issue with it is you can't put this on exactly with the other M4s because you have this gas chamber, so you have to mod and play around with it a little bit. I haven't really done that, so just be careful. You only have one out of the box that can use the scope. Next one would be Lab Rat, which is obviously medic. Sells all your different healing stuff. Why? Okay, the helicopter's leaving. The helicopter noises really annoy the crap out of me. Looking at your health, you'll see where you've been hit, and it's important to note that it's not like Tarkov where you can just use a Grizzly or a Salewa to heal. You need specific things. Splints are good for injured limbs, so if you break your legs or you shoot your legs, you can use the splints. There is no health system from what I can tell. It just seems like blood. If you lose all your blood, you die. If you lose too much blood, you start getting dizzy. To stop blood, you'll need something like a combat tourniquet or some gauze or band-aids, stuff like that. Ibelin is your painkillers, so if your character's in pain, you can use this to help out a little bit. And the surgery kits right here, this is how you would repair your organs. So for instance, I got shot in the lungs, my lungs were damaged. I have to use this to get my lungs back. If you get shot and you go down, you go into a coma state. I don't know if it's always or how it works. I died once so far. I went into a coma state. The other time I got hit by the helicopter and insta-died. So take it as it is. My understanding is your faction or team can get you up by taking their circuit out of their butthole and then being able to use it on you. Haven't tried that. Just what I've heard. Yeah, so that's pretty much the basics. It seems like the gameplay loop is just making sure you're doing your tasks and trying to go through it. And so far, honestly, I'm having a good time. Short of some of the performance issues, it's been pretty good to me. Just some quick like troubleshooting steps here for people that are having issues. Not really a basic help or anything. If you press escape or tab, over here is how you get to your settings. You can, change your settings however you really see fit. So your audio output is your headphones. So that's how you're hearing. If you notice, there isn't one for audio input. My understanding is it's using the Windows default or whatever you set for Steam. So if nobody can hear you when you talk, check your Windows audio settings and then check your Steam audio settings. which is like under the Steam chat or something like that for Steam. You should be able to figure it out. It's pretty simple. Then completely restart your game and then come back in and people should be able to hear you. At first, nobody could hear me. I did those steps and now they were able to hear me. Some of the other things here for performance that people are recommending is you need to play with your own settings. Just because you're having problems, turning them to low, from what I've heard, doesn't fix things. I have all mine on Epic, but I have a 4090, so keep that in mind. I like my background rate at 60 FPS. Honestly, I should probably cap my frame rate and shouldn't do unlimited, but it doesn't matter because I can't get many frames anyways. I am CPU bottlenecked. Motion blur is under post-processing. Turn that off if you don't like motion blur. But the big thing here, I'm using DLSS, but if you are having frame problems, you can use FSR, I think. Yeah, FSR and then Fidelity FX frame generation turn on, and it'll give you more frames. Here's the thing. My understanding of it is that will increase your input lag, and I honestly didn't really like it. I put my DLSS back on and put it on performance with the on boost. Don't know. Seems to be working for me, though. Again, you're going to have to really play with these. Play with them in town. And honestly, my recommendation, first time you get into the game, go into the PvE mode, which is called Joint Operations. Take all of your gear off, put it in the stash, play with your settings, get it to where you need to be, and then just deploy out to one of the landing zones. And then you can deploy back, fly right back out to where back to the base. And here's why. Lots of people are having issues and they're getting disconnected, and if you get disconnected, you lose your gear. When I went from here, the base camp, to landing zone Alpha 2, I went from 70 frames per second to complete system freezes, back to 20 frames, the system freezes, back to 20 frames, the system freezes. And once I landed and things simmered, I have not had that issue again. I can fly back and forth and not have issues, but that first time was really rough. Maybe they patched it, they've been patching all day. Again, this recording is on day 1, so things are hopefully going to change. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys like the game. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you took anything from this, please, for the love of God, talk with your friends on what factions they are joining. That way you can all be on the same faction and you can all have fun together. So that's it. If you have any more questions or you knew some things that I didn't know, put it in the comments. Love to chat with you guys. Until then, I'm going to go play more and do some tasks. So, toodles.